Hello everybody, it's July 29th, 2022. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what I said on Monday. At the time we had pretty much invalidated the impulsive move upwards, unfortunately, but we had two possible bullish paths and then a potential bearish path. So we'll go over these real quick. I'm actually not going to read over them, I'll just go over them on the chart. Except for this one. Let's take a look at this bearish option. It would have been a diagonal downwards basically in 5 waves, and we didn't see that. We've invalidated that, so that's important, that's good, right? The diagonal I was looking at would have been basically like this. If we had seen 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like that, that would have been a bearish sign. So breaking back above that channel and obviously getting up where we are now is good. It's removed that immediate bearish possibility, and it leads us to a couple different options, all of which probably end with another high here. There's a small chance that we have already topped in this fifth. We did slightly make a higher high. I don't think so. I don't think we're actually done with that fifth wave yet, though. I think we've got a little bit of work to do still. So there are basically like 3 bullish paths now I need to look at, and we'll go from there. So the yellow path that I was looking at, there was a possibility that we were going to see A in orange, B in orange, and that usually would have ended back here, but it could make a new high, and then C in orange. We could come down and revisit these lows. That is a possibility still, and that could end the 4th wave, and then we'll get a 5th wave up, right? That is still possible. I think that is less likely, so I'm gonna I'll keep it as orange, but I think that's less likely. The reason I think that's less likely is because we do have potentially a 5 wave move up now, and I believe that's 5 waves within an A. All right, so that B is our alternative. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within A, and so this A can honestly be for either the yellow or the blue. And let me show you what I mean by that. So it is a possibility, like I said, in the blue path, that this top right here was an A wave, meaning instead of this being the top of yellow 3, this is actually A of 3, that's B of 3, and we're getting C of blue 3. That's a possibility. And what that would form as is basically this: A, B, and C up. All right, so there's one possibility, and what that would mean is that we would then be in a steeper path, this blue diagonal, and we would then get a wave 4 pullback within that and a wave 5 upwards within that. I find that to be unlikely based on some of the alt charts that I'm watching and some other factors that I'm looking at, but I think that's a less likely possibility. All right, I believe more likely we're going to see this play out, where we're actually in yellow 5, and we're going to see a little pullback here in B, and then another 5 wave move up to end us at more like the yellow diagonal top. We can go a little bit beyond it. So there's really not, unfortunately, a great way to say which one of these is in fact playing out. But I think if we get just generally somewhere within this zone here after a pullback, I do expect a pullback. Either way, I think we're probably coming down here, maybe to this midline basically, around 22.7 or so. I think that's very reasonable to expect. So a little pullback and then a push up. If we just get into this region, which maybe is like the 20, 25.5 to 26.5 region, I think that's pretty likely going to be the top of this 5-wave move then. And I do count that as my primary. I'm going to keep that as yellow. Yellow is my primary count. So there's our ABC as primary if we get to 25.5 to 26.5. Now if we go significantly higher, we see a little pullback and then we push way higher, like up into the 28s, I'm then going to be looking at this as a much more serious possibility that we actually weren't done with 3 yet, and that push up into that area instead. And generally, it's hard to say right now because it's time-based, because this is an ascending channel, but somewhere in this, maybe 27.5 to 29 area, if it gets up there, I'll look more seriously at this blue count. So for now, I think the best way to operate is to assume that we are nearing the end of this 5-wave move. So the good news is, basically, as long as we get another high here, we will have 5 waves off of the low. That's great news. That means it's very, very likely that the bottom is in. That'll upgrade. When I saw this initial move, I said 70% chance the bottom is in. When all 5 of these fill out, it's a diagonal, which I'm not a huge fan of, so I can't upgrade it like all the way to 90%. But if we get all 5 of these to play out, I'll say 80% chance, maybe 85% chance the bottom was in back here. And what we'll see then is, once this 5th wave plays out, is we will see potentially a very deep drawdown from there. We could go back under 20K very easily and still be bullish, because that would be 5 waves up and then a 3-wave pullback. So we're going to have to watch and make sure that this correction forms as a 3-wave pullback and doesn't go deeper, too much deeper than expected. Once that wave 5 is in place, we'll have to keep an eye on it, because this is a diagonal, like I said, which is still a little sketchy. But this would be a good sign for sure if we get another high here. That would be 5 waves. So for now, just short term, let's zoom in here. B waves typically hit right around the 0.5. They can go, they've got a range between the 382 and 618, similar to second waves. So right here really is support for a B wave, a typical B wave. But because it is corrective, it's a corrective structure, it can do almost anything. We might see it go deeper, we might see it go shallower. It's very hard to say, but it would not be a terrible idea to try a scalp long from this area. We could, if we get, especially right around that 0.5 fib, I like that for a B wave, 22.5. Very possibly we can get a scalp up to like 25 or so from that area. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on. And if we go down really micro, we can see we've got nothing to worry about here on the micro time frame. Nothing is indicating significant bearishness. This move is very obviously 3 waves, right? So that's a great sign that we're not going to see a new bearish impulse. And what we're seeing right now is all part of corrective action. Now this corrective action can certainly continue downwards. It can keep chopping sideways and get deeper into that area, but it's not a bearish sign in the longer term. So like I said, we may or may not get into this area. It could go shallower, it could go deeper, but this is a pretty decent area to target for a B wave here. Anywhere in this green zone is probably where it wants to bounce, and then we'll see a C wave up. And to be honest, I'm going to just change this to yellow here, because I think that's more likely as part of the yellow count here. But we could be in this blue C, so we'll just keep that in mind, like I said, if we go up significantly higher. But for now, my main idea is that we're going to go here and then up to finish off that C of 5 in this diagonal. All right, so there's B wave support. We'll see if that holds over the weekend, and we'll go from there. Once we do have a bottom confirmed, then we can get a fib extension for C. You know, if we go around here, this gives you a nice target area, typically between the 764 and 1236. Right in there would be that top, and that lines up pretty well, you know, especially if we hit this 26.3 area. That's about the 1.0 extension. You know, that seems pretty likely, something in that region. But we'll get those targets better once we have this B wave bottom in place. So for the moment, expect a little bit of a drawdown here, you know, potentially 5, 6, 7% down from current levels, and then we should see another maybe 16, 17% upside from that point. And then I'm considering anything within this area. Honestly, this large area here, I've already started taking profits on my large, or on my my long positions. Not my spot buys, but my leverage positions. I've got leverage longs from this area, and I've begun taking some profit on them, right? And I will take more profit up in this zone, you know, 25, north of 25K basically. I'll take more profits because like I said, the next move after that will likely be a fairly large pullback. And this is going to be designed to make everybody think that it's going to continue down. So this, like I said, can drop pretty deep here. Markets pretty much love to screw over the most people possible, right? So when we see this, we're going to have a bunch of people saying, it's a breakout, it's a breakout, we broke out over these highs, right? And you know, we're going to have a bunch of FOMO longs in this area. They're going to say it's going to go to the moon from here, right? They're going to get in, and then it's going to break down, and then they're all going to dump below this low right here. So I think it's almost a certainty we're going to break that low. Hopefully we don't break these lows here. That would be a little sketchy, but under 20K is a real possibility because the vast majority of people are going to have their stop losses. You know, they're going to buy at like 25 and then have their stop loss under 20K, and that's probably what we're going to target. So just keep that in mind and be ready for it. Be mentally prepared, and be prepared, especially on your leverage positions, that is a very real possibility after we hit this next high. All right, I think that pretty much sums it up. So I will talk to you all on Monday. We'll see how this progresses, and we'll go from there. All right, take a look at suggested videos here. Always a good time. And make sure you hit the subscribe button for me. Hit the like button on the video. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.